empty out into the grain cart, and then run off to the grain mill again. And we might end up with a lot of wheat out of this field, which will be a nice result if we do. Don't think we're going to make it to the end. So the advantage with not making it to the end, I can set off a worker and it's just going to head that way across the field harvesting, and should give us enough time to get to the grain mill and back before it's full, and then I can take over and carry on doing the island type harvesting deal. Okay. Yes. Oh, did I turn the engine off? I really did that. Oh, I'm driving around in the cab in the TLX this morning. And it's it looked like there were two graphics glitches on it. And it wasn't until I got out and looked at the hood that I realised there's a couple of vents on the hood. I'll show you. I can start unloading. So here, there's that little black square in the middle of the hood, and I was looking at that and saying, is the texture bad on that or something? And it wasn't until I got out and looked at the front and said, oh, it's a cooling vent thing. It's just sort of completely missed it. Okay, how are we doing? We are 72. This will take us to 84%, but there's not enough room at the end of this row for the harvester to do its thing. Turn the worker on. Could, if I'm fast enough, grab a little bit more, but as soon as the worker is now going to go down the field with the auger on the wrong side, so we will just run with 85%. We've only got 6% more that we could actually take for weight, so we might as well run while the harvester is completely empty. I figure it should probably be about 60% full by the time we get back, and we might be able to do an unload on the move when we get back, but we're paying for a worker. So 17,000. We don't. If I did my math right, we only need 10,000 of this, so we're going to end up with about 7,000 in wheat for flour production. Our bonus, you could say. The flour, that's good. We're on the unload. So, as I said, we should end up with about 7,000 litres of flour. (94%), 74% transported. We have... Oh, they still want 11,400 more. Did I completely misread that then? Whatever. So shall we go back to our normal? We'll probably have about gonna guess 3,500 litres of wheat to turn into flour then. Considering the smaller fields have all been round about 2,000 litres for the barley and the oats and the other barley. Actually, the other barley, small barley field was only about 1,900 to our credit. And since this is the largest of the fields, I'm going to guess this is probably going to yield 3,500 to our benefit. And we are 80% of the contract done. So yay us. Yay worker. And there's the field. And there's the harvester at the wrong end of the field. You poo. Guess we'll park up here. How much is he at? 42%? Actually, that's not too bad. I'm going to take the worker off as soon as he clears. Up we'll go. This bit. So, wow, that was a really poor cut-in. I mean, we've got 9 feet, not even. This is an 18-foot header. Yeah, probably about 6 feet of wheat on that row to the edge. Ugh. But again, we're not running along the main cardinal. If I was running a 180 or a 90-degree path, you can use the XY coordinates on the mini-map to figure out how many feet further you need to go. When you're doing 225, that's an angle which involves people like Pythagoras in the math. So, not happening. At least not playing farm sim, it's not happening. Complicated math should not be done while you're driving a harvester. Anyway, how are we doing? We're at 65%, so probably end up doing most of this before we empty. And the harvester's now at 2.5 hours use. Ugh. I really should have paid more attention to the leasing costs. Unfortunately, you can't just look it up. I have to go part way through leasing another one to find out what the breakdown is. The important bit, I think, is going to be how much is the leasing cost overnight. Because obviously playing a 3-day month, I don't think that reduces the leasing costs, so I am going to be paying the daily leasing cost. We'll find out, I guess, when we trip over night time. Anyway, let's get that lined up. Still only got the X9. Oh, the other thing that was there is dropped off. So harvesters, we're running this one. Leasing is 4,000 base, 2,000 per day, and 4,000 per hour. So 2,000 per day. We're still paying 2,000 overnight. So I'm gonna need, because I need this for July and August. I need to make sure it's productive for the whole time I have it, and hopefully it's getting paid enough. Because frankly, these contracts, 4,000. There's no big payouts. Oh, did I see 7,000? There's a big payout there, 7,000. But we have done 4, so yeah, 4 contracts at 2,000 a time is 8,000, but it's costing us a heck of a lot more than that to lease it. But like I said, the leasing cost's already there. It's, are we covering the hourly rate? And the hourly rate is 4,000. So long as I can do a couple of contracts that pay 4,000, then, or a couple of contracts per hour that pay more than 4,000, we might just, it might be worth our while. I don't think these contracts are making us any money though. This is really just barely covering the cost of the harvester doing this. But again, I'm not factoring in the whole additional flour, bread manufacturing. Something rolling. Yeah, no. For a moment there, it kind of looked like something was drifting. Another reason why I've dropped using mods in the past, because they don't stay where you put them. And I've had trailers, I put them in a shed and then come back and they're at 90 degrees to the angle I parked them, and I now have to use super strength to rotate them in order to get at the hitch. Okay. 90% done. Yay. Stuff. It's kind of a shame because over the winter we had the Class Tucano for sale, and that was then followed by the Class Lexion, which, frankly, is a little bit too big for our farm. But the Tucano would have been a really nice purchase, but it was kind of on the brink of, well, I don't need a harvester right now. It's going to be sitting in my yard for 6 months not doing anything. But comparatively, this is 202, 8,600. The Tucano is, or Tryon, sorry, is 10,000. A little bit bigger. What's the header? Right, 10 meter. So it's a little bit bigger than what we're driving here. I don't have the Tucano loaded as a mod. I've seen it. It's available on the mod hub. But yeah, Class Tryon. That was available as a sale item, and cheaper than this thing is. So it was just one of those. Do I take out the debt? Do I pay? Do I buy it? Do I have it sitting around doing nothing for 6 months, or do I just wait, pay the rental fee on a harvester this year, and see what comes around next year after I've made some more money? Because that's really the big thing. I haven't sold my silage because, frankly, silage sales in April, June, July are just horrible. It doesn't seem to be worthwhile, and significantly doesn't seem to be worthwhile. I think it's something like £150 per 1,000 litres, and if you go at the best time to sell silage, we're at 150 and the best is 190. That's 33% of the value off what we could sell it, the best price we could sell it for. So while we do make a lot of silage, it's kind of, that strikes me as a little bit of a waste. We could save it for a couple of months and maybe get 20% more, or even 10% more. Okay, I guess we're going down to the bottom here, and running this edge, because unfortunately when you get to this point in this shape field, I have to drive so far not harvesting stuff that it just makes sense to do it all wrong again. We've only got about 9 foot here, maybe a little more, maybe 10, 11. I can never remember which button to push. So we're now down to 60,000. I guess once we get back to the yard, we can see how much our leasing costs have been. We're going to hit 3 hours. Well, it is what it is. And this, I mean, I don't know. I decided to go with the 18-foot header because it's cheaper to lease. But is that a bad idea? Because obviously the 25-footer is going to do, what, 33% more harvest, so less time to harvest a field. So I'm putting less hours on the harvester, but I'm paying a little bit more for the header. And, maybe I should have gone with the 25-foot header. Just a thought. And of course, with the 25-foot header, we get the job done faster. I think I'm doing okay with the Land Rover and the header trailer to manoeuvre stuff in and out of places. But, I mean, the Massey could probably do it as well. Anyway, that is done. Oh, we've got to fish the Land Rover out, so I'll head to the edge of the field here. I'll extend the auger. And now I need to find out where I park the Land Rover. In the shade, so it shouldn't be too warm inside. Something like that. I think we got ourselves stuck on a tree. I don't think any sort of farm sim shenanigans is going to get us off the tree. Oh, yeah, it's That's the thing. Anyway, let's get that lined up without crashing into anything. I've only got 2.8 hours on the Land Rover. I really haven't driven it very far. Okay, 75% full. Do I have anything in the trailer? I can't remember. Oh yeah. And yeah. Getting a lot of black smoke out of the tractor. 94.7 hours. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. Okay, I'll back up a little and jump out. Try not to get our heads chopped off and back it up. Okay, that allows us to empty this thing. We'll drop the header off, and then I think maybe we'll run the header trailer down to down to our canola field. It's probably the best of plans. How's that going to work for us? Fold that. The header, drop it off, lean into place, and I can fold that. Okay, let's take this. Back to our farm. And again, we'll do a cab drive down there. Clunky old Land Rover, you can actually hear the gear shift. So we might upgrade to the Land Rover 90 at some point, and right now this seems to be, I mean, I'm kind of using it as a four-wheel runabout, to be perfectly honest. Oh, and turn. Oh, sorry. You can see the gear shift just under the mini-map. Alright, so canola field, that's just past the house, and since I took the hedge down we have a little bit more room to break in here. Okay, I'll do a get out and peek look. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure there's enough room between me and the metal hedge, but we'll find out in a moment. So, how much more stuff to deliver? We need to deliver 11,400. We have 15,100, which makes almost 4,000 litres of wheat to process. It's not bad. But we get paid. And I think we can do a profit loss comparison with the how much has the leasing costed us versus how much have we earned. Now, one thing to think about is the base cost of the lease was 4,000. We would have had to pay that anyway to do our fields, and probably 4,000 on hourly use. So, to be fair, 8,000 of our leasing costs we'd have had anyway. Try not to hit the bucket of flour. It should be good. Let's dump that. Done. Get paid. So still a ton of contracts, but not too fussed about them now. What I'm fussed about is 22,000 on leasing, 11,000 on contract income. So yeah, we've got hours on the harvester. That means we are going to get charged another 4,000 for harvesting the canola. Oops. I guess we'll see how it pans out. But it's only 10:30 in the morning. Potentially I've got more. I could do more contracts later in the day, which could then, I don't know, I think I might be losing. It might be, might be a losing battle with cost versus income, leasing versus work. What's it? Leasing versus contracts. Get this into the field, and I'm liking this tractor. I like that it comes in black, as opposed to lime green. And coast down the hill. Oh, we're here already. Now, this is possibly where it gets interesting. Actually, I'm not sure. Again, canola is a high-value, low-density crop, so we might make it all the way around the field before we fill up the harvester. And then we'll be unloading the canola into our grain bin, so we can go out of our farm side field exit that we chop the hedges down to make room for. I don't think a tree